Yeah, good evening, children.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good
Good
evening.
evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. I can see Arjun. Good evening, Arjun. Good evening, Florentina.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Madhumita.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Rakavi.
Good evening, ma'am.
I don't identify this person, 3B Jonathan. Was that?
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, good evening.
Uh, Good evening, ma'am. I have joined in my cell now. Now I'll disconnect it, ma'am. Florentina is already in another device.
You can stay in the meeting, ma'am. Fine, fine. You can stay in the meeting. No issues.
Okay,
All
ma'am.
right. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Good evening, Prajakth.
Good evening, ma'am.
Yeah. Good evening, Giant.
Good evening, ma'am.
And good evening, Tanishka.
Good evening.
Yeah. So I was just waiting for a few more students. It's already, about 15 minutes past 8, so I'll not wait any longer. We'll begin today's session. So today we are going to dive straight into the syllabus of Standard 10. So, you have 15 chapters. Some of us have not finished our 9th standard exam at school, while others have finished. But I don't know if you've started your 10th standard classes, so you may not have received your NCRT maths textbook. Well, there are 15 chapters. The names of the chapters, I'll share it on WhatsApp later. Now, in today's class, we're going to start off with the 14th chapter, which is statistics. All right, so we'll first recall the basics or the introduction to statistics, which you have learned in Standard 9 already. So we'll just discuss about that. And so today is basically a warm-up class where we're just trying to understand the nature of the class. So it's just like how you warm up before an exercise. So you prepare your body, physically you prepare your body before you actually do that rigorous workout. So it's like mentally, preparing your mind to get started with the vast but interesting easy syllabus of CBSE Standard 10. It's vast. The syllabus is vast. You'll be learning a lot of concepts. It's vast, but it is simple, easy to understand. But in order to see, it is vast. So if you have to remember this vast syllabus, the syllabus is not vast. That is, the concepts you learn in this syllabus is really vast. So if you have to remember all this, my work is to explain it in a way so that each one of you here is able to understand clearly. So I will be doing that to the best of my caliber. I've been into teaching for the last 20 years. More than that, I started off in the year 1997, as soon as I passed out from BCom. So since then, I've been into teaching, but not high school immediately. I started with middle school, and then I've been teaching since then. So I promise to do at the best of my, strength. I'll see that I make everything clear and easy for you. Now, what is so that is a promise from my end, and students are free to ask your questions. Nobody, I do not, I will not use anything that hurts or that will hurt any child here in the classroom. You can simply ask what comes to your mind. Don't, when you get a doubt, just ask me. Don't ask yourself if I should ask the teacher or if it is a silly doubt. Don't judge your question. I will not judge your question. If you ask me something, I have to answer it. That's my job. If students ask me a question, it's my duty to answer it. It's my duty to make it clear. I have to clarify that for you. So do not hesitate to ask. So that's a request from your end. Some students are will be online always, like Florentina, Prajit, and Danya has not joined us today, so she'll also take up the classes online. Okay, so some 3 more students are expected. So today they're not here. So a few other students also will be taking the classes online. So request to online students is, I cannot see what you're working in your book. So you have to compare what you have written with what I'm writing and ask your doubts wherever you think there is a mismatch, what you have worked does not match with what I'm saying or discussing. You have to ask me. If you're in the class, I can look into your book. Now here, when you're taking the class online, kindly make sure that you get your doubts clarified. So what I was telling you is, as a teacher, my work is to make things clear to you. As a student, once I have completed my duty of making things clear to you, you have to practice it in order to remember them. How to retain? You will be learning so much. We'll start off with statistics, and then one by one, we'll cover so many chapters. At the end of the year, around November, you would have learned 15 chapters. So many things in these 15 chapters. And how do you retain all this? Only if you retain information, you can present it. You can, get it, retrieve it from your memory. If you have retained, if you have deposited the information in your memory, then you can retain it. In your, you can read, if you have deposited the information in your memory, that is retention. Retention is retaining the concepts you have learned in your memory. How do you do that? By practicing. That nobody can do it for you. A teacher can help you understand, can make you clear with something. But all that which you have understood, only you have to take the efforts. You have to practice to retain all that in your memory. Only if you retain in your exam, when you read the question, you can retrieve that information. The relevant idea, you can bring it from your memory and present it in the exam. So retention, retaining the concepts which you have understood, which is taught by the teacher, retaining the concepts can be done only when the child practices. So how many times you have to practice depends on your strength, and that differs from an individual to an individual. Some of us read maths, some of us don't even work, we just go through and we are able to remember. Some of us, after working 2-3 times also, we still feel that, somewhere I'm still not confident. So just listen to what your mind says. Practice. You must practice to retain the concepts understood. Only then, surprises can be avoided in the exam. There is no, exam anxiety, and you can aim good marks in your exams. So I will do my part of explaining things clearly. You have to do your role of practicing regularly. You cannot hold up the portions and, do it so much, like hold up everything and then do it on 1 or 2 days. That's not possible. Or practicing just before your exams or just before your test at school is not possible. You have to do this as a habit. Practicing maths must be a habit, like how you brush your teeth regularly, take a bath. We have our meals 3 times a day. So we have some certain activities have become a habit for us because we've been doing it. Because we've been doing it since, childhood. Jayant, kindly disable your mic. So like that, with practice, it becomes a habit. So like that, working out maths regularly must become a habit. You must make a timetable that suits you, your school timings, your school homework. So you make a timetable that suits you. And make sure that you are sitting with maths. Regularly does not mean every day. When I say regularly, it means maybe every Saturday and Sunday you devote, some 5-6 hours for mathematics. Say like some 4 hours on a Saturday and some good 5 hours on Sunday. The rest of the days from Monday to Friday, you can study the other subjects. So regularly, I mean in a disciplined way. Regularly doesn't mean like every day you'll have to practice maths. See, that is not possible because you have other subjects also to handle. So regularly meaning make a timetable for yourself. I suggest you spend more time with mathematics on a particular day. Like instead of doing half an hour, 1 hour every day, do it like some 4 or 5 hours on 2 different days. So Sunday, you definitely can get some 4 or 5 hours. Saturday, I'm not sure if you have school. I don't know. But like that, you need to spend a lot of time at a stretch. Only then you'll work, like some good 10, 15 sums. And you will learn the difference between, the different sums. Like what is the difference between the way you work the second one and the fourth one, or the fourth one and the 10th one. You will know the difference between different answers. If you work 1 sum a day or 2 sums a day, you will understand the 2 of it. Then next day 2 sums, next day 2 sums. You will not be able to compare and contrast between the answers. So that'll not happen. So every day you will work 2 sums and you will be very happy that yeah, I understood. So I don't believe in that. Mathematics, you should work lot of sums at a stretch. Only then you will know the difference between the different answers and the questions. If a question is asked in a particular way, so this is the approach. If it's like that, that is the approach. You can compare two answers and questions when you work many at a stretch. So this will definitely work. You must take this from me. Spend 4 to 5 hours continuously on at least 2 days per week. So if you can make it on Sunday and one other day, if it's not possible on Saturday, maybe Monday or Tuesday, you can do like, there's no other choice. No, do some 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the evening, like that. So if you cannot do 4 hours at a stretch on a weekday, you can do it like this. But you need to, so like this twice a week, you are in touch with maths. So that is, you're regularly in touch with the subject. You need to keep practicing. And I was telling you, test will happen in every class, paper pen test every class. So the portions is default, whatever you have learned till the earlier class. So like say we have finished some 10 sessions. 10 sessions. So that 11th session, the test on the 11th session will be anything from whatever you have learned in the last 10 sessions. Supposing today is our 11th session. Now we have to take up the test today. Portions, all that you have learned in the last 10 sessions of that particular chapter. So that is the default portions. So I will not be sharing the portions regularly. Portions is default. All that you have learned till the earlier class. So that means you'll have to keep revising. Keep revising. Every time you come to the next class, please revise your portions. So only when you score well, so it will be 1 or 2 questions, that's all. Depending on how big or how long the answer takes. So maybe 1 or 2 questions, that's all. And every test, if you score good marks, your confidence is boosted. You feel nice about yourself. You feel all the efforts you've taken is really worth it. But suppose you practice, but not really well, you just do it like not to your best, and you're not able to attempt the questions the way you wanted it to be. And you see your friends scoring well, you're not scoring well. See, we can say as a piece of advice that don't compare, but that happens immediately, when you, just a minute, children. Yeah, thank you. So intentionally we don't compare, but that's the very instinct process that happens in our mind, to be very honest, right? That happens. See, like when the marks of your friends, your peers are announced, you cannot just remain, without any reaction, or I can't say that it doesn't affect you at all. It does. The minute, your friend's marks is announced, your mind automatically calculates something. So it's very instinctive. But the thing is, you should not get affected by it. Get motivated from friends who are doing better. Remember that they have taken the efforts to reach that. It doesn't come to somebody very easily. All of us have to practice. To score well, all of us need to practice. It's not that it comes very easily for someone and it's very difficult for you. So every test, when you score good marks, your confidence is boosted. And you reach a point where you feel so comfortable with the subject that you're ready to explore. You give me any sum from this chapter, I'm ready. Because you've been constantly scoring well. You've been constantly practicing, which leads to good marks. So ultimately, you're so happy with yourself. You're very confident with that particular chapter. And that's how, you become very efficient with that particular subject. So please practice regularly. And every class, we won't be spending this time, sharing this information. Remember this always. Practice is the only key to excellence. You want to excel in mathematics, you need to practice regularly. All right, children. So getting started with the chapter. I've shared my screen. Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Who can define statistics? So statistics is a branch of, completed is a branch of
Data.
Collection of data.
mathematics, is a branch of mathematics that deals with. So what will the statistician do first? He'll collect the data. Statistics is the branch of mathematics that deals with the collection. The statistician has to first collect data, collection. So maybe the statistician wants to study, the distribution of the blood group among the population in a particular village. Say a small village with 100 families, or say he wants to, study about the number of children in the 100 families in a particular village. All right. So he has to first visit that village and collect the data. The statistician has to visit the village and collect the data. So deals with the collection. Once he collects the data, he has to organize the data. Like when you get your, when you start off a new academic year at school, you receive the textbooks. Then what you do? You organize the books, right? In your bookshelf or your study desk, you organize the books. So like that, the statistician collects the data. He visits the village. He visits each of the 100 families, and he gets the details regarding the number of children in each family. So he collects the data, and then he has to organize the data. Okay. So collection, organization. Organization is done using frequency distributions. Organization can be done using an ungrouped frequency table. Ungrouped frequency table, that is one which does not involve class intervals. Ungrouped meaning not involving class intervals. Not involving class intervals. Or he can organize it using a grouped frequency table or a grouped frequency distribution. This one involves class intervals. This one not involving class interval. This one involves class intervals. Involves class intervals. So the statistician collects the data. He organizes the data like you organize your books in your bookshelf or study desk. He organizes the data. Now, how does he organize? What are the different ways in which he can organize the data? So organizing data is using frequency tables or frequency distribution tables or simply frequency distribution. So now frequency distributions can be of two types. Ungrouped frequency distribution, grouped frequency distribution. If the frequency distribution involves class intervals, it's grouped. If it does not involve class intervals, it is ungrouped. Ungrouped meaning no class intervals. Grouped, it involves class intervals. Now, when it involves class intervals, further it's of two types. When it involves class intervals, it's further of two types. The class intervals can be continuous or discontinuous. The class intervals can be discontinuous, or continuous, Discontinuous class intervals are also called inclusive class intervals. Continuous class intervals are also called exclusive class intervals. So we haven't still completed the definition of statistics. So it deals with the collection, organization, collection of data. Collection meaning collection of data. Organization of data. Organization is done using frequency distribution tables. Now the frequency tables can be ungrouped or grouped. Ungrouped meaning not involving class intervals. Grouped involving class intervals. Now further, class intervals can be of two types: discontinuous class intervals, continuous class intervals. Discontinuous meaning, I'll give you examples, you will understand. Now, discontinuous class intervals are also called inclusive class intervals. Continuous class intervals are also called exclusive class intervals. So we'll continue the definition. Collection, organization. Now, once he organizes the data using frequency tables, now the data is ready for analysis. Organization, analysis, and once he analyzes the data, he'll give us interpretation. That is, he'll give us conclusion. So analysis and interpretation of raw data. Or you can simply say data. Both are the same. So statistics is a branch of mathematics that deals with the collection, organization, analysis, and interpretation. That is giving the conclusion, interpretation of data. Now, analysis is done. How does the statistician, analyze the data? Okay, now I'll have to come from collection. Do we understand the definition, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Now let's come from collection. These are the four parts: collection, organization, analysis, and interpretation. All right. Now we'll see about collection. I'll allow you to take screenshots. You can write it later. All right. So collection. Data collected can be primary data or secondary data. The first term, collection. Okay. So data collected can be primary data or secondary data, or it can be secondary data. Primary data is if the statistician himself visits the village. Okay, the statistician himself, or he probably represents a person. Not that he has to go himself. So maybe he represents a person. Okay, and that person visits the village, visits every family, and collects first-hand information. That is, he speaks to the head of the family. Somebody's mic is enabled. Please disable your mic. Yeah, so supposing he speaks to the head of the family, okay, and checks about the number of children he has. So that is primary data. Data collected there is primary data. Secondary data is the data is already collected and stored somewhere, like maybe the Panchayat Raj of the village. Okay, the Panchayat committee. So they have the records of the number of families and the number of children and the families in that particular village. So if the statistician does not actually visit the families, but gets the record which is already gets the details from the record which is already saved. That will be secondary data. That will be secondary data. So that's the difference between primary and secondary data. Primary data is reliable and accurate. It's reliable. These are the advantages, reliable and accurate. Secondary data is not so reliable because, you know, the panchayat might have collected the data some 2-3 years ago. You don't know if it is really up to date. All right. So maybe it's old. Okay, so maybe some families have vacated the village. Maybe some families have, you know, come to the shifted to this village. Maybe children have, you know, left the. Okay, some changes like that might have happened. We'll not go into that. That's why I just stopped there. So some changes might have happened. So maybe, you know, somebody's married and, you know, there's a new family in the village. So if the data will not be, you know, like recorded regularly, so it may happen once in a few years. So this secondary data is not reliable because it's not accurate. It's not the information of today. It's the information which was collected and saved 2 years ago, maybe. So secondary data is not reliable because it's not accurate. It may not be. See, if this is accurate, so it is reliable. So reliable. It's reliable. This may not be accurate. May not be accurate. So not reliable. So it's not reliable. So that's the difference between the two types of data, primary and secondary. Organization we saw in detail. This is collection. Collection of data can be primary data or secondary data. Primary is first-hand data. Secondary is not first-hand. It's already you know, saved and stored somewhere, and you pick the information from there. Organization we saw in detail. Analysis. So how does the statistician analyze? Analysis. How does the statistician analyze the data? So you will be studying only the 3 measures of central tendency. In your syllabus for 10th standard, you will only be seeing analyzing the data using the 3 measures of central tendency. 3 measures of central tendency. So analysis, the statistician can analyze the data using so many different techniques of statistics. There are so many, you know, techniques in statistics in which the data can be analyzed, depending on the nature of the data. But we'll not look into everything, all the different things. So we will be only seeing how the statistician can analyze the data based on the measures of central tendency. So the 3 measures of central tendency are, you've heard of this, mean, median, and mode. Now, who can tell me the empirical relationship between mean, median, and mode? What is the meaning of the term empirical? What is the meaning of the term empirical? Experimental. Empirical meaning experimental. Class, use the emoji. Raise your hand. Rajat, Madhumita, Tanishka, Arjun, Danya, Jayant, Rakavi. All right. Thank you, children. Yeah, my question is, okay, I told you the meaning of the term empirical. Empirical meaning experimental. Now, what is the empirical or experimental relationship between the 3 measures of central tendency? Empirical or experimental, all right? Or experimental relationship. Yes, you've seen this last year. What is the relationship between mean, median, and mode? That's my question. Okay. Mode is equal to
3 median.
3. Yeah, very good. Minus 2 mean. Yes, Prajit. Mode is equal to 3 median minus 2 mean. I'll do one thing. I'll, like these notes, I'll make a presentation for you and I'll share it with you. You can complete it before you come to the class tomorrow. I'll send it by tomorrow morning. So complete the notes by the class tomorrow evening and then join the class. Don't join the class if you have not completed the homework. Please finish it. It will hardly take half an hour. So 6:30 is your session tomorrow. 6 o'clock, if you sit to write, you can complete it. Please finish that and then join the class. Yeah, children. So this is the relationship between mean, median, and mode. Mode is equal to 3 median minus 2 mean. Now, when do we use this? Supposing, one more question. They give you the value of median and mean. Supposing you can use the value of median and mean in this equation and find mode. That is, given the values of any two, you can find the third one. Supposing they give you the value of mode and median, you can find mean. Given the values of any two, you can find the third one using this empirical relationship between mean, median, and mode. So that's about analysis. So there are other things like standard deviation, correlation. There are many, many things. So we don't have all that in our syllabus. So these are the only three, the three things. So which are called the measures of central tendency, mean, median, and mode. So we'll learn how the statistician can analyze the data using these three measures. All right. So that's about analysis and interpretation. The last one is interpretation. So that's just giving the conclusions. So after having studied the data, the statistician comes out with the conclusion. See, now supposing he studied about the, let's just take a simple example. Very, very simple example. Let's just say this is about the shirt size and sales. Okay. So shirt size, let me start with say 38 inches. Okay, 38 inches. Some 40 pieces sold. 40 inches, 100. 42, 90. 44 inches, say 30 or 20. 46 inches, 2. Let me make this 18 so that let's make this 18. So what's the total? 140, 230, 240, oh, 250. So nice. Okay. 140, 230, 240, 250. Yeah. So now this is about the so this is about the sales to 250 customers, say. We'll assume that each customer has picked only one shirt. We'll just assume that each customer has picked only one shirt of his size, only one shirt. So on a particular evening or on a particular day, 250 people have visited the shop. On a particular day, 250 people have visited the shop. So 250 is the total you can see there. 40 people have picked shirt size 38 inches. 100 people have picked the shirt size 40 inches. 90 people have picked the shirt size 42 inches. 18 people 44 inches and 2 46 inches. Now tell me which shirt size is more in demand or is the most in demand?
40 inches.
40 inches. Now, will the shopkeeper place more order for 46 inches and less order for 40 inches? Will the shopkeeper place more order for 46 inches and less order for 40 inches?
No, ma'am.
No.
No.
He can clearly see, because he's tabulated like this, he can understand. Otherwise, he cannot understand. He has to tabulate like this. So from this tabulation, he can analyze now. So what does his analysis say? 100 people have purchased this size, 40 inches. So this size is, is in most demand, 40 inches. So he'll place a bulk order of this size, this shirt size. And 46 inches, only two people. Only two people, because it's a big size. So only two people have picked this size. So supposing he places order for 1,000 shirts of 40 inches, 1,000 shirts of 40 inches, then maybe he'll place order for 50 shirts of 46 inches. I'm just giving you a rough idea. 50 shirts. See, when he wants 1,000 shirts of 40 inches, maybe some, 25 to 50 shirts of 46 inches. So the most order he'll place for 40 inches and the least for 46 inches. So here mode helps you. Mode helps you to decide which size you will have to make a bulk order and which size you have to make the least order, and the other things. So here we use the concept of mode. The highest frequency is 100. The highest frequency is 100. So the modal shirt size for this data, the modal shirt size is 40 inches. 40 inches. For this data, the modal, DAL, not model, not this. Modal shirt size, the modal shirt size is 40 inches. So like this. Now you will use mean. Now if you want to find the average marks, now say you're studying 15 subjects. Say you're studying 15 subjects and your total is for 1,500. Okay, your total is for 1,500. And you have scored say 1,200 for 1,500. You want to find your average score. So what will you do? 1,200 out of 1,500. For 100, how much? For 100, how much? So like this, 0, 0, 3 4s are 3 5s are 5 1s are 5, 20. So 80%. 80%. That means on an average, in every subject, you have scored 80 marks. So this is mean. Talking like this is mean. On an average, you have scored 80 marks in every subject. You are studying 15 subjects. You're studying 15 subjects. Each subject is for 100 marks. And on an average, you have scored 80 marks in every subject. So we normally use mean. We add all the marks. Okay, so you add all your marks. How do you find mean? How do you find mean? So your marks in subject 1, M1 plus M2 plus M3. Your marks in subject 4, subject 5. Like this, you'll keep adding till the 15 subject and divide by 15. And that you will get 80. For example. Okay, so M1 is the marks scored, say, in English. M2 is the marks scored in Hindi. M3 is in, French. M4, whatever, physics, chemistry, biology, mathematics, and all like that. So you're studying 15 subjects and yeah, you have to find the sum of the marks you have scored in all the 15 subjects and divide by 15. And if that works to 80, this means you have on an average scored 80 marks in every subject. So this is mean. This is mean. Now you cannot use mode here. You cannot use mode here. Supposing in like most of the subjects, you have got say 80, but in one subject you've got 0, in another subject you've got 5, and in another, for example, okay, so don't take it seriously, and in another subject also you've got 0. Not because you did not go for the exam, you went for the exam and got 0. So now if I say that on an average you've got, the modal marks, in most of the subjects you've got 80. In most subjects you've got 80, but there are some subjects in which you've not scored at all. So now if I say modal marks, if I find the modal marks, that will say 80, which will not be appropriate in this situation. You have to find the mean. When it comes to marks and average marks, you will have to find the total, the sum of all the marks, and divide by the number of subjects to give you an idea about what you've scored on an average. The median or the mode will not give you the approximate average value. All the three are averages actually. See, that you need to understand first. Mean is an average. Median is also an average. Mode is also an average. These are the three averages. When we say the three measures of central tendency, they are the three averages. But the most common average used is mean. The most common average used is mean. And the most common average used among students is mean. What will you do? You'll add all your marks and divide by the number of subjects. That's what we normally do. We'll not find median or mode because this is the most appropriate average when it comes to marks scored by students in different subjects. Now for this shopkeeper, mean will not work. Mode will work for this guy. Mode. Maximum sales has happened in 40 inches. So he'll place more order in this shirt size. So here for business purpose, mode works. Mode works. We'll also see like this. I just have to share some more things. So we'll also see examples in the next class where median works. So that's about analysis. Analysis is done using the three measures of central tendency. The statistician decides which will most fit a particular situation. If it's about business, he will think of using mode. If it's about students and marks, mean. And in some other cases, we'll see the examples tomorrow. If I take up that'll again take some more time. So I'm just not talking about that now. So in some other cases, median will work. So like this, the statistician will decide which average or which measure of central tendency will be the most appropriate for analyzing a particular data. So he will analyze and then give us conclusions. Conclusions are these: buying, more of 40 inches. What is the conclusion here? On an average, I have scored 80 marks in every subject. That's the conclusion. On an average, I as a student have scored 80 marks in every subject. So, so this is what is statistics. And this is what of statistics you will be seeing this year. You will also have, so last year you have learned how to represent So in class 9, you have seen the graphical representations of grouped frequency distribution. So let me write that. Grouped. Where did we see grouped? See here. We saw grouped frequency distribution here. See here. Organization. Organization using ungrouped and grouped frequency tables. Okay. Organization using ungrouped and grouped frequency tables. So I'm talking about the grouped. I'm talking about the grouped frequency distribution. Frequency distribution. Using continuous class intervals. Using continuous class intervals. Let me just write grouped frequency distribution. Class intervals must be continuous. Must be continuous. If it is not continuous, you should make it continuous. The graphical representations are graphical representations. You have seen last year. Graphical representations you have seen last year are histogram last year, 9th standard. You are now in standard 10. Histogram and frequency polygon. So histogram and frequency polygons are graphical representations of a grouped frequency distribution using continuous class intervals. If the class intervals are not continuous, you can make them continuous. Histogram and frequency polygons. Histograms and frequency polygons are graphical representations of grouped frequency distribution with continuous class intervals. If the class intervals are not continuous, you can make them continuous and then use any one of these representations. And you've also seen that you can make a frequency polygon using the histogram or without using the histogram also. You can make the frequency polygon. You can make the frequency polygon using the histogram without using the histogram. I'm just making it very rough, children. So you join the midpoints, no? Midpoints like this. You join like this. This is the frequency polygon. This is the frequency polygon. Histograms are those continuous bars. Those bars, those rectangles which are stuck to one another. They're the histogram. That is the histogram. So you've seen how to put up a histogram and also a frequency polygon. The frequency polygon can be put up using the histogram or independently without using the histogram. This is what we've seen last year under graphical representations of frequency distributions. Now, if it is ungrouped, I'll just write it here. If it's ungrouped, then you use a bar graph. The graphical representation of ungrouped frequency distribution. Ungrouped frequency distribution is a bar graph. No? So because in bar graph, the rectangles, they don't stick to one another. They don't stick. They're like this. So this is blood group A, blood group B, but blood group AB, O positive, like that, O negative, and number of people. So ungrouped frequency distribution does not involve class intervals, and the graphical representation can be done using a bar graph. In lower classes, you would have seen pie charts, pictographs. So all this can be used. Lower classes, in class 7, 8, you would have seen pie charts. Or a circle chart, you call it. Circle graph, circle chart, pie graph, whatever. Okay, so this one, pie chart, pictographs, all this in 7, 8. Sorry, 6, 7, pictograph. 7, 8. 6th, I'm not sure, I don't know. 7th, 8th. 8th standard, we have seen, bar graphs. Pictograph, I think, is of 7th standard. Pie chart and bar graph, yes, in 8th standard. So pie charts, bar graphs, pictographs used to represent ungrouped frequency distribution. That is frequency distribution which does not involve class intervals. The bars in the bar graph, they don't stick to one another. Grouped frequency distribution, graphical representation is done using histogram and frequency polygon. See, there are many other ways. We are dealing only with these in our syllabus. I'm talking with respect to the syllabus. Now, this year, you will see ogives. The less than ogive. Ogives are cumulative frequency curves. Ogives are cumulative frequency curves. Just a minute, children. Yeah, 2 more minutes. I'll just wind up today's session. Yeah, what was I telling? What was I telling, children? Oh, yeah. Yeah, let me see how attentive you were. Yes, what was I telling? Where did I stop?
Pie chart.
No.
Ma'am, that OJAB or
Correct. Thank you. Yes. Ojives. All right. So in standard 10, you will be seeing how to find mean. See, this is the order in which we'll be learning. This is the order in which we'll be learning. We'll see how to find mean using 3 methods. Using 3 methods. 3 methods. Not only mean for raw data, mean for frequency tables also. Mean raw data you've seen 9 standard. We'll also see for frequency distributions. Don't write anything now. I'll give you the notes tomorrow. So raw data, you've seen the formula, no? Last year, x bar is equal to sigma xi by n. For frequency table, you'll be seeing now there are 3 different ways. One is a direct method, assumed mean method, and the step deviation method. Step deviation method. So this is what you'll be seeing this year. Mean, how to find mean for raw data we've seen in standard 9. So we add all the values, right? Add all the values and then divide by the number of observation. Sum of all the observations by number of observations. X bar is equal to sigma xi by n. Now we'll also see in detail how to find mean for frequency tables. That is class intervals and frequencies. Class intervals and frequencies. So how to find mean for a frequency distribution involving class intervals and frequencies. So this can be found using 3 methods: direct method, assumed mean method, and step deviation method. So mean can be found using 3 ways. In all the 3 ways, for a particular data, you will get the same answer. You cannot get 3 different answers. For a particular frequency distribution, any method you use, you will get the same answer, exactly the same answer. The method is different, but the answer you get using the different methods will be the same for a particular question. And then you will also see median, how to find median. There's only one formula you will learn, only one formula, one method only. Okay, so how to find median. So again, in everything you have raw data and frequency distribution. Raw data you've seen in 9th standard. Median for raw data, 9th standard. Raw data. Median for frequency distribution. See, raw data. Now tell me the median for this, children. Let me write some numbers. Please wait. Let me finish. Yeah. What's the median for this data? Have the answer to your mind. I'll ask somebody. All of you find the median. See, this is raw data. I've written some numbers. So this is raw data. And the question, see, if I ask you to find the mean for this data, you will say 8 plus 4 plus 0 plus 11 plus 12 plus 23 plus 8 divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Divided by 7. So that's mean. If you're asked to find mean, you will add all the numbers and divide by 7. 0 is also a number. Should count that also. Don't think it is 0 and leave it and say 6. 7 numbers are there. 0 is also a value. So that's mean. How will you find the median? What is, no, I don't want to know how you find it. What is the answer? What is the value of the median for this raw data? No, I don't announce the answer. I'll ask somebody. Ready? Okay. It's okay. See, if you don't want to announce, you can just mention in the chat. Yeah. Type the answer, children. Since it's easy, you can just type your answer. Type the number. Rajat 11. Okay. Fast. 8. Okay. Danya 11. Okay. Yes, yes. Don't hesitate, children. We're all learning. Giant 11. Florentina 11. Very good. Yes, yes, others. Arjun, Raghavi, Tanishka. No, I want all of you to answer. All of you must answer.
Got 11, ma'am.
Yeah, I don't see your answer. Have you typed it already? Okay, fine. She's got 11.
Already.
Raghavi, how do I
I
call
have
you?
already-
Are you Raghavi or Raghavi?
Ma'am, you can call anyway, like Raghavi.
Oh, okay, anyways, huh? Okay, fine. All right. Raghavi, all right. Yes, Raghavi, please type your answer. Okay, 11. Okay. And how many of you are confident that your answer is right? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. How many of you are confident that, yes, my answer is right? So Prajit, he's very sure. Danya is sure. Rakavi, Tanishka. Florentina, not sure, is it? Okay, the others are not sure. What about Arjun? You didn't give your answer, I think. What about Madhumita? You're not sure?
Yes, ma'am. My answer is different from the others.
Oh, see, so that makes her, doubt her answer. So she says, while all of them have got 11, I've got a different answer, so she's not sure. Okay. Yeah. So all of us except Madhumita have forgotten to arrange the numbers in the form of an array. What do you mean by an array? You need to arrange the numbers in either the ascending or the descending order and then find the median. All of you have just caught up the fourth value like this. Most of us, except Madhumita, who's arranged. You have to arrange the numbers in the form of an array. Array meaning arrange the numbers in the ascending or descending order. That's very important. That is what you should register. Median. These are certain key things which you have to remember. You cannot forget. You should not forget. When you find for mean, you don't have to arrange it. For mode also, you don't have to arrange it. For mode, we arrange because when you arrange, you can make out which value has come many times. For the sake of convenience, we arrange, but you don't have to arrange. It's not that only if you arrange, you'll get the right answer. Not like that. For mode, we arrange the numbers in the form of an array that is in the ascending or descending order, just for the sake of convenience, so that you can make out which number has happened many times. For mean and mode, it's not at all necessary. For median, you have to arrange the numbers in the form of an array that is in either the ascending or descending order. So we normally use the ascending order, small to big. So first 0, then 4, then 8, and 8 again, and 11, 12, and 23. N is equal to 7. Median is equal to n plus 1 by 2th value or item, whatever you say. n plus 1 by 2th item or value, whatever, children. So 7 plus 1 by 2, 8 by 2, fourth value. The fourth value is 8, and that is the median. So see, Now, those who said 11, please realize and don't forget this.
Yes.
Those who did not answer and those who said 11, be happy that you made the mistake, because you can remember better when you make a mistake. Not that Madhumita will forget, not that you will forget, Madhumita, but when you learn something by making a mistake, there's an impact. So be happy. Actually, really, I can remember better when I make a mistake. So I go wrong in making some recipe in my kitchen. Next time when I do that, it that time when I went wrong immediately comes to my mind, and I make sure that I don't do the same mistake again. So every time you learn by making a mistake, be happy that God gave you that situation, because you will not forget. I'm sure nobody will forget now. When you're finding median for a raw data, you need to arrange the numbers in the form of an array. That is either in the ascending or descending order, and then find the median. Now, if you have two numbers in the middle, then you'll have to add the two numbers and divide by 2 to find median. So that is median for raw data. Oh, it's time. That's median for raw data. And for frequency distribution, you will be learning a formula. Similarly, mode. Mode, you know how to find for raw data. The value that occurs most frequently will be the mode for raw data. And now this year you will learn how to find mode for a frequency distribution using a formula. So this is what you'll be learning this year. So mean, median, mode for raw data you've learned last year in 9th standard. Mean, median, and mode for frequency distribution. That is for a table having class intervals and frequencies. How to find mean, median, and mode using the formulae. That is what you will learn this year. Apart from this, the concluding part of statistics is the graphical representation using ogives. Ogives are graphical representations used to find median. If you want to find median graphically, you can use the less than ogive or the more than ogive. These are the two graphs which you learn this year. Okay, ogives are cumulative frequency curves. See, there are two things: cumulative frequency polygons, cumulative frequency curves. Okay, cumulative frequency polygon, cumulative frequency curves. Now, these cumulative frequency curves are ogives. And ogives are graphical representations. Why? To find the median graphically. Supposing you have to find the median algebraically, you use the formula. If you want to find it graphically, then you'll have to put up the less than or more than ogive. And then there's a procedure by which you can find the median. This is what, so I've taken you through the chapter from the beginning till the end. So starting with finding mean, median, mode. For raw data, you've learned in 9th standard. For frequency distribution, you will be learning this year using formulae. And then the last part of the chapter is preparing ogives to find median graphically. So this is what you will see in the chapter statistics in 10th standard. Very simple, but many little things to remember so that you're always accurate with your answer. So you need to remember many things. And that comes only when you're interested. You need to connect yourself with the subject. See, I'll tell you one small thing and wind up the session for today. Now, supposing you're a very friendly person, you're very friendly. So now you go to your school the first day. You see that two of your best friends, they have shifted to a different school. So if you are a friendly person, that will really affect you. You really feel bad. You miss those friends now. You miss those friends because you were really attached to them. So now they're not there, so you miss them. But if you're an introvert, okay, oh, sorry. But supposing you're an introvert, okay, you just keep to yourself. You don't talk to anybody. You're not bothered. You're not affected. somebody is there, somebody is not there. You don't mind at all. You just go to school, listen to the teacher and come back home. So in that case, nothing is going to affect you. In that case, nothing will affect you. Whether a new student has joined, no, you will not be affected. So your friend has left the school, that also does not affect you. You should not be like that with mathematics. With mathematics, you need to connect. With the subject, you have to connect. You should be affected. You should be affected. Like when you're not practicing, when you're scoring low, you should be affected. Only then you will take that interest, or you will take that effort to practice and score better. You must connect yourself with the subject. Like how you will miss your friends if they, shift to a different school, or say some more friends, join the classroom. Now you can see many more students in the classroom. So you're excited because you can make new friends. So that kind of a relationship you need to establish with the subject. So you score good marks, you're motivated, you're encouraged, you want to keep doing good. When you score low, you will be demotivated. But remember, there is a solution. You can still work hard, practice, and do well as good as the others. So you should be affected. Your marks, your efforts must affect you. You should be sensitive. That means you must attach yourself with the subject. You must connect with the subject. All right, children. So with this, let me wind up today's session. I hope it was informative. The new students, Prajit has already tried my classes. Completely new are Florentina and Rakavi. So I hope all of you enjoyed the session. What about Rakavi and Florentina? Was my audio and video clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, it was clear.
Very good, very good. All right, children, I'll share the notes by tomorrow morning. Make sure you write down all this in your notebook by tomorrow's class. And regarding the test, there's no time to talk to you now because it's already time. I'll text you on WhatsApp. All right, so tomorrow there will be an online test. The details I'll post on WhatsApp. Those who have not shared your email ID with me, please share it now. Please text me. If you have not got your credentials, please text your email ID and get your credentials. All right, children. So that's it for today's session. Thank you so much. Good night. You may leave the call. If you have any questions to ask, you may stay back and ask me. Thank you, children. Good night.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, children. Good night.